Hi folks, I'm coming to you from a beautiful garden with a sausage dog on me. I'm house sitting for some sausage dogs and they're so cute. They just want to be in your lap all the time. There we are. And I thought, so gorgeous, I'm going to do this video outside. So we are approaching a full moon in Libra. It's happening on the 13th of April at 23 degrees and 19 seconds. And that is at 1:22 a.m. if you're GMT time. So this is a really interesting one because, first of all, we think of Libra, and Libra is the sign of the scales, Venus, Aphrodite. It's all about peace and harmony, and particularly peace and harmony in our relationships. Libra very much cares about having those close, intimate connections in our lives. And with a full moon, it means we have this polarity with the sun and the moon, and we are in Aries and Libra. So there's this real, almost crunchy moment between, and I have a train going back in the background. There's a real crunchy moment between, asking for what we desire in our relationships, Libra, needing that closeness, that connection, versus Aries needing to initiate, needing to lead ourselves and to be self-assertive and be centered in our own power, in our own sovereignty. So it's a question of how do we balance those two? And I always think balance is a funny one because it can't be that everything in our life is in balance. Sometimes the scale has to be like this, and sometimes maybe it is like this. I hope those trains in the background aren't too loud. And we've got Mars quite aspected to this full moon. So this is not Libra usually is about, like, it's quite a peaceful energy, it's easeful, it helps us flow, and it helps us be diplomatic in our relationships. But with Mars here, there's a harsh edge to it. It's like, where are we actually suppressing our anger in relationships? Where are we dimming our light? Where are we actually putting up those walls of protection that actually prevent us from being intimate with the people that we love, right? I know I've done that before and still do. And there's a wound when we put those walls up. It's like we're so scared of that intimacy because maybe a trauma or something happened in our body. It's a psychological response. So this is really about, like, where are you suppressing your anger in relationships to almost to please or keep the peace in those relationships, because that's not healthy in the long term. If you can't voice your truth, then I would question, who are those people that you're surrounding with, right? And I know it's really uncomfortable because anyone with strong Libra energy wants that harmony and peace consistently, but it's not realistic. Breaking the bubble here, but it is not realistic. Sometimes we need that polarity, that edge, to actually come back to our truth and actually go, okay, there's a tension here, there's an edginess here, and that's actually leading me back to my center, to my truth. And I had a bit of a crunchy moment this week, and I really had to sit with that, what was surfacing. It was the scared part of me, that inner child. I had to reparent her and go, it's okay, it's all okay. So just watch if there's any surges of anger surfacing, dig deeper, like, what is that anger trying to tell you? Because so many of us are we don't want to feel that anger. It's uncomfortable. We feel like we've been told it's not okay to feel your anger, but it is, in a healthy way, to process that anger and just let it be released, let it come up to the surface is incredibly healing. Because when you accept that anger, you're not trying to change it, you're just allowing it and giving it space. And that is the catalyst for healing. And that's where the shadow work comes in. So if you want to delve deeper, do reach out, because I have a one-to-one offering a couple which will dig deeper into those parts of you and really integrate that shadow, because when you integrate all of you, you actually wake up more energy in your body. Otherwise it's stuck and it's like becomes stagnant energy in the body. So these surges of anger might come up, allow them, be with them, and root deeper. Okay, what is this anger actually about? Because I find that when anger surfaces, for me, there is some sort of boundary being crossed, or I probably haven't set a boundary, so I'm getting annoyed because maybe my personal energetics are being affected by some situation, right? So just be aware of that. And Mars is the god of war, so is the polarity of Venus, Aphrodite, who is like in her power, is standing, is free. She is magnetic. She receives because she knows she's worthy of it all. And this god of war is like testing us, like, okay, yes, you want harmony. Yes, you want this diplomatic nature in your relationships, and we need that. But we also need to be really self-assertive and go, okay, it's not selfish to go, what is it I need? What do I desire? And that's the Aries part of this, in this full moon. That is the voice of Aries. And it's funny because it seems that Aries keep coming into my life recently. So they're obviously here to teach me something. And actually Aries is intercepted in my chart, which means, we all have all the 12 energies in us, but it means it's harder for me to access that energy. So I feel like these people are big teachers for me. So also in the chart, Pluto is opposite Mars, and this is like, it is so crunchy. That's the word I can feel. There's almost a lot of, it might be, again, hidden grief, hidden anger, or jealousy. Those emotions that we suppress because we're like, I can't feel that. I'm a terrible human. But actually, it's okay to feel those things. Like, you are a human. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and those emotions are okay. As much as we are like, don't feel a discomfort, that's actually going into toxic positivity. Journaling on these emotions that surface, maybe the shame also that surface, but it's more the theme of grief, anger, and jealousy, because that Pluto initiates us. It's like, right, I'm going to probe into the shadows. I'm going to bring this up to make the unconscious conscious. And I know that can be tough. So at least you're aware of it. That's why I love astrology. It gives you a language to understand, okay, why these old things that you might not have grieved in your life are surfacing now. And the grief might well be around where you felt like an outcast, where you've maybe felt isolated, felt alone, and haven't had a community. And watch for where that defense mechanism you put up. That's a coping strategy, right? We learn. And, thank yourself, give yourself so much compassion for those coping strategies, because your body's just trying to keep you safe, right? Your subconscious is just trying to keep you safe. So really being compassionate with ourselves is so important at this time. And there is so much going on energetically in the world. I know this is feeding into this. I'm really seeing that Pluto Mars opposition. It's like everyone's almost at war with each other, and there's this anger in the collective. But if there's that shadow in humanity, it means we've got to look at ourselves and do that shadow work and actually be responsible for that in ourselves. And Venus has been direct for a while, is actually going direct on the 12th of April. So Venus is all about our values, our relationships, money. So if you felt like a bit stuck in these areas, things should start to unfold, and you'll feel like that forward motion, and you'll feel like, oh, I suddenly know what I need to do about that, and you'll have that clarity. So look out for that. And we talked about this in our yearly forecast, but Neptune entered Aries on the 30th of April, 30th of March. So Neptune had been in Pisces, which is it's at home in. Neptune actually rules Pisces. Neptune going into a fire sign is quite brash. This is like, it's harsh. It's in a fire sign, and the shadow side of Aries is this brashness, is this boldness where it doesn't think about how others will be affected by its actions, right? By your actions. Again, we've all done this at some point. You know, I'm laying it out there. We've all done things we regret or made a brash decision and go, oh shit, I didn't think about how that would affect other people. So this is a signature. And basically Neptune will, you know, it will illuminate those delusions and those illusions we're actually hiding behind, particularly around being self-assertive, being in our courage. It's like, where have we backed away from being courageous? Where have we shied away from stepping up, being bold and speaking our truth? And I really feel this collectively is like about radical spiritual changes. You know, we've had the beautiful Neptune in Pisces, like the spiritual world is booming, all these beautiful modalities coming out, people practicing meditation more, all of those themes. Now it's like, right, okay, you've gone through that, you've done your spiritual development. How do you initiate that in the world? How do you lead yourself and actually lead others, sharing those gifts that you've acquired and learn and sharing that wisdom? So it's like, I feel like it's an integration point now that is very much about leading. If there's an area in your life you're not happy with, it will point to where the part of the chart that Aries rules for you. This is like helping you see through the bullshit. And it might feel confusing for a while as well, because Neptune can bring confusion, can bring illusion, as I said. So just look at, like, where are those rose tinted glasses? Where are you looking at through rose tinted glasses because you don't want to see the truth? Yeah, that's a signature. And then the moon's in a trine with Jupiter. So this is a lovely aspect, apart from this moon feeling quite edgy and quite like there's a lot of inner conflict and tension here. There is a good thing. Moon trine Jupiter. And again, it's all how you look at it. You know, Mars, you know, it does initiate us. But that moon trine Jupiter is like, okay, I want to expand. How can I expand in these relationships? I've done the deep reflection work of the Venus retrograde. I've got more clarity about those relationships, maybe what I seek to create more harmony in those relationships. Now it's expanding those relationships. It's like, I'm bringing the ease, I'm bringing the goddess part of me to those relationships so I can be so worthy and seen of these connections. And I feel like, so one of my friends came to see me where I'm house sitting, and he brought me some flowers, and it was so beautiful because I was like, I actually feel comfortable with receiving that, with receiving those. And maybe before, it's, you know, we all have receiving wounds and it goes back to our childhood, but it felt really good to just be in my feminine and go, yeah, I can receive from the masculine. And that is also a big theme here at this full moon. It's like, we all have masculine and feminine within us, and how can they merge together? How can we dance with both? We really need both. And particularly with that Neptune moving into Aries, it's like we're being initiated into the masculine part. It's like, okay, wow, that's beautiful. It's like a buzzard flying overhead as I was saying that. So that's important. Masculine. I've lost my train of thought now, see? Spirit is speaking. Masculine, initiating, being in our masculine. And I know a lot of people in the spiritual work can go, oh, I'm just going to be in my feminine. Yeah, I've done that. I hold my hands up high. But the feminine needs a container to flow in. So the masculine is basically just the structure, the container for that feminine to have her chaotic dance, for her to ebb and flow with her emotions, for her to be free, for her to be fluid, for her to be receptive. So this is like shining a light on where do you need to have more of that masculine in your life? Is it you need better better self-discipline in your life? Is that a morning routine? What does that look like? And it might just be simply sitting with that masculine part of you and going, what is it you need? Because when these aren't in balance, we go too much into our feminine or our masculine. Then particularly I've noticed when I used to go in my masculine too much, and this is important for sensitive souls who will relate. If you're always acting from that masculine, you just burn yourself out. There's no flow. It feels hard. It feels rigid. So the feminine helps keep things playful and light-hearted, right? So just finding what works for you with the feminine and masculine, and journaling on this, like what does my masculine need to be in its fullest power? So yeah, there's a lot going on. And just to touch on another aspect, moon is quincunx Uranus, that's a mouthful, and Mercury. So there's a learning curve here around being centered in our spiritual communication. So communicating with spirit, being connected with spirit, allowing that spiritual energy to flow through us, being that conduit for us, and it also nourishing us emotionally. So it's almost like merging with our emotional self. That spiritual connection is helping us drop deeper into a space of harmony and peace within. And that Uranus is sort of like still a wake-up call. If you're finding your securities feeling a bit rocky still, that's that aspect happening, and you might feel like deeply emotional about something because maybe you don't have those safe foundations in your life. Maybe there's a wound, or there's a you feel that fear around your finances, your security. I know people see security in different ways, like maybe the home you live in. Just that sense of security has been rocked for a long time, and at this moon these things are going to come to the surface, because a full moon will bring everything up to the surface, particularly things that we are kind of like not wanting to look at. So make space for yourself, give yourself so much compassion. Like, this moon is going to be a wave of emotions. And of course it also will impact you more if you have planets in those cardinal energies. And of course, if you want to dive deeper, I'm always here for one-to-one astrology readings or my one-to-one mentorship programs with astrology to help you understand yourself at a deeper level, because that's where the healing happens. If you understand and can dance with all those shadow aspects of you and understand what your soul gifts and your soul purpose is, then the journey gets to be so much fun, so much like there gets to be so much aliveness and so much fulfillment in your path and on your path. So I'm sending you all so much love on this full moon in Libra, and if you're enjoying the content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me to spread the word. Share with your friends, share with your family, and share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear what this is bringing up for you. Share below in the comments, and lots of love to you all. Bye.